Let's go.
All right. Welcome back. This is Billy with Coach Dooley's List. And once again, if you're enjoying these coaching videos, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow along on all of our social media platforms. Today, it is my honor and privilege, and I'm excited about being here with Coach Kyle Hardy at Jefferson High School. He is the head baseball coach. And, Coach, thank you for taking the time to meet.
Thank you for having me, brother.
I'm excited. So, jump right into it. I know a little bit about it, but I'm going to let you tell everybody about your coaching journey.
So, I guess I actually started coaching baseball in the travel ball world. So, started the travel ball world, ended up coaching Dwayne Sapp's son. And Coach Sapp ended up asking me to come coach on his staff at North Oconee when he was at North Oconee. And ended up coaching there for a year while I was doing my student teaching. After student teaching, I got hired at Walnut Grove. Danny Daigle. I worked under Danny Daigle there for 3 years. Great experience there. And then Coach Knight, who was before me the head coach here at Jefferson, and I actually played for him in high school. And he called me one day. He said, it's time to come home. So ended up coming back home. I worked under Coach Knight for 4 years. Learned a lot from him, and I'm sure we'll talk about that some more later. But after he retired, I got the head job here. So this is year 4 as the head coach here, so that's about it.
It's going well. And look, a lot of coaches out here, you've had some good people that you've worked underneath, some good mentors, and, you've learned a lot. And I know all 3 of those coaches you just mentioned, and all, again, successful in their own right, but also very different in how they go about things. And so, you take those things from other programs and other coaches that you want to make your program about. So what is it now that you want your baseball program here at Jefferson to be known for?
Well, one thing I will say is one of our team themes is do simple better. And I feel like that as a program, we do a really good job of doing the little things at a high level, whether it be, running a ball out, a hard 90, you hit a pop up to center field, your butt better be going to touch second base, advancing to second base on a dirt ball read, hustling on and off the field, things like playing hard and playing the game the right way for me are just non-negotiables. And I tell our players all the time, the little things make the big things happen. Yep. And I will say a lot of that has been created within our weight room here. The culture of the weight room at Jefferson in general is unbelievable. Our head strength and conditioning coordinator here, Coach Mike Morgan, I'll put that guy against anybody in the business, man. He's unbelievable at what he does. And we put a big emphasis on the weight room. Yep. I'd say it's the foundation of everything we do. We lift in the mornings all fall before school even starts. It's dark. It's about to get cold. So it really creates toughness. And, through that weight room stuff and the do simple better theme that I'm talking about, I feel like a lot of the detail-oriented stuff, the discipline is really created with what we do in the weight room. So through the weight room, though, we obviously our guys, they enjoy lifting, and it goes back to just the culture of our school in general. We're obviously very successful in many different sports, but it's just a thing here at Jefferson. We're going to lift hard. We weigh our kids weekly. We give them goals that they're trying to shoot for, but we feed them after they lift. So, the do simple better mantra mixed with the weight room. I feel like that's what kind of sets us apart from a lot of baseball programs. So,
now I love the do simple, and you get to talking to a lot of coaches about what they build, and again, I think you have to keep it simple for kids. And if you do those, like you said, the little things right, the bigger things always take care of themselves. And so, and getting up in the mornings, practices, being at different schools, there's always stories, and they're never usually on the field or on the court that I get from coaches. But what's one of your favorite coaching stories you've ever been involved with?
Favorite coaching story. So, thinking about this is, I don't know that I have a specific favorite coaching story, but my favorite stories are seeing what our guys do after they graduate and when they become men, what happens, there. For example, I'll tell you Lane Watkins, who's a guy that he student taught with you.
Lucky man.
Yeah, great mentor here. He's a guy that
Who, and just a note also, you didn't student teach under me, but your first year coaching high school,
right.
We did get to work together as well.
Coached with a legend right here.
No, so, I'll take no credit for what's going on in this baseball program.
Yeah, that's not true. But anyway, yeah, Lane Watkins. So he played here. He goes to Georgia to play baseball. He's now on staff with us here. He teaches here. I've got, like, Zach Corbin was a guy that played here. He went on to play at Kennesaw 2 weeks ago. He sends me a picture. He just had a baby. So I've been doing this 12 years now, so I'm kind of in that stage where I'm getting wedding invites. I'm getting, pictures of guys having babies and stuff like that. And, that's the stuff, communicate with guys after they leave here and seeing that they're successful those are my favorite stories because, for me, that hopefully we were a piece of that puzzle that helped shape them into, being who they are today. And, at the end of the day, as coaches, that's why I do what I do. It's not just about the baseball; it's about developing the person too. So,
no, and I love hearing those stories too, because it's a lot of young coaches, and that's part of why I try to do these videos is giving them some good words. A lot of the young coaches feel like, or they realize this really quickly, that it is a thankless job. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 years until you realize that, hey, you're doing good stuff. Right. And it could be somebody running into you at Kroger, hey, coach, here it is, and then they bring up the memories and that kind of stuff. Yep. So that's really cool. Yep. For sure. The babies are always fun, the weddings and all that kind of stuff. But, so in keeping in contact with all those, guys that you coached in the past, or maybe it could be an assistant coach or anybody that comes to you and says, hey, Coach Hardy, I want to be a head coach one day. Mm-hmm. What piece of advice would you give them?
Piece of advice to a future head coach, man, I'll tell you, my dad told me when I first got the head job, he said, when you go through this, now that you're in a position of leadership, you need to make sure that, number one, you don't know everything, and you don't need to believe that you know everything. And there are people out there that have been successful that are wiser than you. They've got more experience than you. And you don't need to be scared to go ask those guys questions. And I'll say at Jefferson, man, we have so many good coaches. And I've been so blessed. Obviously, Tommy Knight, who I played for, coached under. I mean, he's a legend in his own right. I lean on that man weekly just through many, many things in my life. Coach Kevin Morris, our basketball coach. And that's another thing I would tell future head coaches is it doesn't just have to be your sport.
Right. Kevin
Morris is our basketball coach. He's a very dear friend of mine. He's been successful and done it the right way for a long time. So why would I not ask that man questions?
Right.
Alan Bailey, our softball coach, he's one of my best friends. Same thing. He's been very successful for a long time. Our athletic director, Coach Navis. These guys I really lean on. And for somebody that's going to be a head coach, I would tell them, find those successful guys that do it the right way and lean on them, ask them questions. Don't be scared to ask them a tough question. And, you don't always have to do what they say, but it's good to hear a different perspective and, get out of your own way and thinking that you know everything. Put your ego to the side. And the second thing that I would definitely say to somebody that's aspiring to be a head coach, and this goes back to Coach Knight, I'll never forget the day I got the job here. I got the head job. I came back over here, and he was sitting in the office right here waiting on me. Of course, he hugs me, congratulates me. But the first thing he told me, he said, you need to make sure that this is you being the head coach is not who you are. It's just what you do.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it's easier said than done. Sure. My first couple of years as the head coach, the wins and the losses, I really kind of let define me. And as I'm getting a little bit older and experienced, I see, you can't let that happen. You can't let the wins and losses define what you're doing. You got to always refer back to like what I talked about earlier about why I do what I do. And so that's something that I will say it was a learning curve for me. And looking back on him telling me that, it's so right. You got to be able to separate when you leave this place. And I go home to my 6-year-old, my 4-year-old, my wife, that I'm not carrying that stuff with me there. So that's what I would tell somebody that's going to be a head coach. So.
No, and that's come up a lot lately about, hey, it's not who you are, but then also ways that coaches take care of it. I had to tell you I was going to ask you this. So, but this is something I want other coaches to realize too is, what do you do in your free time? Because sometimes you have to force yourself to walk away, meaning put your phone away, stay off the computer, all that stuff. And just 6 and a 4-year-old, you got enough, but what do you do for fun?
Yeah, so obviously I got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. I love spending time with them, and my wife as well. But man, I'm just you've known me for a long time. I'm a people person. I love hanging out with people and getting people to our house, watching college football games. I love to play golf. But yeah, man, one thing I've really focused on this year a lot is just being more intentional in my relationships with people. So, yeah, I love people, man. Love hanging out with people, our players, and that's another thing about players that they need to see you outside of this facility. I have my players to my house all the time, and we do things at my house, and so yeah, that's kind of some things I do to try to get away.
I love it. We do need to play golf together,
Let's
and
go.
they do put on one of the best golf tournaments ever. So I didn't get to play with you. I know you were working, but but I will be coming back for sure. So, in talking about all your duties and things like that, one of the big things for these videos is to bring awareness that we actually do have a website. It's trying to connect coaches with vendors. And, the only way I put anybody on there is if a coach refers them to me. And so who are some vendors that you would shout out that if a coach called you and said, hey, I need this, that you think enough of them to refer them to somebody else?
Well, I mean, I guess the person that, I use the most is Jamie Chosewood from R&S Sports. He's our, I guess, middleman we're an Under Armour contracted school, and he gets us all of our player pack stuff, or anything from T-shirts to our players' cleats and all that stuff. Another one I would say is Goofball Graphics. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're based out of Winder. A guy named Phil Page, fantastic dude. He's done a ton of things for me, from making hole signs for the golf tournament, and our player locker room, the player nameplates up in their lockers in there. He makes those. He's done T-shirts for me in the playoffs. After this past year, he did T-shirts. But yeah, he's a great resource. He does our team store, our online team store with the parents. But yeah, he's a great resource. Atlanta Athletic Field Supply, Mickey McMurtry. He does all of our dirt, infield conditioner, quick dry, all that stuff. Mickey is unbelievable to work with. I would be doing you an in-service if I didn't say online donations.
Thank you.
Online donations, Billy Dooley.
Y'all rocked it last year.
Yeah, we made $30,000 last year as a program with Coach Dooley right here, online donations. Another one, Scott McKinney Designs. He does all of our signage, and we got stuff like this all throughout our facility.
There's Coach Watkins.
There's Coach Watkins right there, yep. He was a player. But we got stuff like this all throughout our facility, out on the field. He's a great guy. He does incredible work. He does a lot for Coach Bailey too. Trying to think. We've used Better Baseball. We redid our indoor in there, our netting and our tunnels for where our hitters hit. Better Baseball is great. I think that's about it.
You've covered a lot of it. And knowing you work with Coach Bailey, the man prices out everything and gets quotes. And so that's actually, he's a big inspiration too, helping me with getting things on the website. So I know several of those are on there. The only place you're ever going to find Coach McMurtry on the internet is actually on the website. Yeah. Because he's nowhere there. Right. But no, that's awesome. And so I'll definitely get the information from the others and get them added. And coaches, again, if you need something, check the website out. If we don't have it on there, then tell me and I'll find somebody who's got it. So, but Coach, wish you nothing but the best. I appreciate your time, and I always enjoyed talking to you, brother.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.